Hey, how you doing? My name is Ryan, and today I'm reviewing Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, the latest Marvel movie. My wife and I saw the film recently, and we definitely have some thoughts. This review will start off spoiler-free, but we will move into spoilers. However, I will let you guys know when that time comes, so if you haven't seen the movie yet, you can either skip or click off, or heck, just watch it if you don't really care about spoilers. They're all over Twitter now, and YouTube for that matter. So if you haven't watched the movie yet, be careful because your YouTube home feed might just be filled with Doctor Strange spoilers at this point. Sorry if that's the case. Personally, I quite enjoyed the movie. I think I'd give it a rating of like an 8 out of 10. For reference, I'd give the first Doctor Strange a 7 out of 10. My main problem with the first movie was kind of the laziness in how it utilized magic. It was kind of just a lot of firecrackers and fist fighting, whereas later movies like Infinity War, Endgame, and even Thor Ragnarok really used magic to a bit more of a creative and wider expanse. The fight with Thanos on Titan is a great example of how Doctor Strange should use magic. Turning power blasts into butterflies and throwing dimensions at people, having multiple arms. It kind of felt like the old Roger Corman movie, The Raven, where two sorcerers kind of duke it out, and we do get a little more of that kind of magic in the Multiverse of Madness. There still is some firecracker fist fights, but they're very minimal. Also improved from the first movie is the direction, the camera work. Sam Raimi really shines here. If you're a big fan of his work, whether it be Evil Dead, the original Spider-Man movies, or even his newer stuff like Drag Me to Hell, he is phenomenal in how he moves the camera to give you the best seat of the action at every point. It's kind of like, imagine watching a basketball game courtside. You still have to kind of move your head to follow the action, whereas if you're watching on TV, the cameras always give you the best angle at every moment. Sam Raimi does that in this movie, and it works really well, paired with some pretty amazing magic sequences. As for acting, truly everyone brings their A game. It's a Marvel movie. There's very few times where an actor is bad in a Marvel movie because they're usually given good direction, they're well cast, and oftentimes there's enough whiz, bang, and pop to kind of hide any poor acting scenes. As for VFX, I think they're pretty solid across the board. There are some moments where they feel a bit lackluster, but I think it's more so they're okay, but the lack of creative camera work in those sequences elevates the fact that you're looking at boring VFX. There are some moments, there's a pretty big sequence in the beginning that I think doesn't have as much fun with the camera and as much fun with the angles, so the VFX kind of are down a little bit of a level there. I think the only other big negative I have is expectations versus what we finally got in the movie, and part of that is spoilery, so I'll be vague here, but the trailer pitches you one movie, what you get is something a bit different, and while in some cases that's great for the movie, but for the other cases it does kind of dampen my experience with the film. You leave feeling pretty happy, but I think those who are holding on to the expectations of what this movie could be for the MCU might want to temper them a bit, otherwise they probably will be let down. So those are my non-spoiler thoughts for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Again, I'd give it an 8 out of 10. It's not like the upper echelons of Winter Soldier, Guardians, Infinity War, Endgame, but it's pretty darn good. It's that sort of middle tier MCU that's honestly kind of incredible that a film this deep into the franchise is good, and it's nowhere near my top 10 of the MCU. That just shows you how consistent they are at putting out good films, and it makes those standout films like the original Avengers, Guardians of the Galaxy, Winter Soldier, all that more special that they stand out from the pack. But with that, I think it's time to get into spoilers. Let's bring down the wife.
You made a puppy appear.
So welcome to the spoiler section of this review of Multiverse of Madness. That is spoilers, so if you haven't seen the movie and you care about spoilers, you can skip to this time code.
Go away.
Or you can just, yes, go away. So I talked about expectations in my non-spoiler part and how the movie didn't really keep up with them. And I don't want to sound like that I was like, oh, I want this to be an endgame where it changes everything about the multiverse.
Well, that's kind of how they marketed it.
It kind of is. I feel like Loki had more game-changing...
Let me just get one thing out there.
Here you go.
Loki's the frickin' best. I have not seen anything as good as Loki in a long time.
He should have cameoed in this, not gonna
And
lie.
originally, I think he was supposed to, but I think they cut him. And oh my goodness, can you imagine if he was in there?
I mean, it would have tied all the multiverse storylines together. That's my main problem with the conceit of this movie. It's not that, oh, we didn't get 15,000 cameos, is that I still don't know the exact rules and limitations of the Marvel Multiverse. I don't know. There was no, like, here's point A, here's point B.
I really would have wanted when they were like cutting through all the different like zooms and like all the different multiverses and whatever. I would have wanted to like just have a quick flash of Loki in the background, if anything, or even just like in the end credit scenes. Like we didn't need random dude with the
Bruce Campbell cameo.
Sure, we didn't.
Or you mean
the pizza ball guy?
Yeah, the Bruce Campbell cameo. Yeah.
I didn't know that's his name, but we didn't need him.
That's a fair point. Also, by the way, that clip of them tumbling through the multiverse, that was already released before the movie came out. That was
the most of the
that
multiverse
was that was the most of the multiverse and most of the madness. So
no, the madness was the whole movie. I feel like there was a lot that they threw us off with, where like if you watch the What If show, which What If wasn't my favorite show, don't come after me if you did like it. I didn't, not very much, but they definitely made it seem like a lot of the What If characters were going to tie in somehow. And they didn't really. I mean, they were there.
It feels like What If was like a focus group and not an actual show. Like, oh, people like Captain Carter, let's put her in Multiverse of Madness and, well, kill her. People like the evil Doctor Strange, let's have a version of evil Doctor Strange and then kill him.
You can't give me John Krasinski and then kill him.
It's like they're trying to have their cake and eat it too, where they want to give you all the characters you like from the multiverse What If, but they also want to have the big shock of, oh, Wanda kills the Illuminati.
Look, this movie was not marketed at all to make it seem like Wanda was the bad guy.
It felt like Wanda was an antagonistic force in the trailer, but not the main villain. And I thought she was, great. She was a great main villain. In terms of actual characters and villains you care about, she's great. She's a relentless, Terminator-style Jason Voorhees. It's great to see her in that way. People might not like it because of how she kind of ended WandaVision, where she was kind of ambiguous, but then the post-credit scene of that show was like, oh no, she's evil, she has the Darkhold.
Also, is she just dead now?
That's another good question. The film seems so self-contained that is it gonna have any ramifications to the MCU besides a third eye?
Are we gonna have another Wanda? I feel like they built up the character too much just to have her die like
Yeah, will there be another Wanda? And if so, will we care about her at all because she hasn't been through the emotional arc? And if you do bring her back, does it ruin her sacrifice in Multiverse of Madness?
Maybe she somehow survived it, but like was planning on dying. I don't know, but her, are we gonna bring Vision back at some point?
Well, yeah, White Vision's still out there.
Maybe we get zombie Wanda.
This is why I feel like the film doesn't really set up the rules of the multiverse or how it's gonna play out in the future MCU. Like, yeah, they mentioned incursions. They're gonna do Secret Wars probably, where they have all the versions of all the characters in one planet, in one multiverse. They combine all the timelines, but
how many times have we now had the multiverse? Because we had a version of it in WandaVision, which wasn't really, but like we got like something there. We have Loki, we have What If, we have this.
No Way Home.
No Way Home.
It feels like they're all building to something.
But what?
But it's not even like they're laying bricks. Oh, we can see the pieces come together. It's like they're starting 4 different houses as opposed to one house with 4 bricks so far.
And what's the theory that you were telling me about that? Wasn't it Feige who said it?
The non-canonical, but probably most likely explanation as to how the multiverses work so far. Sylvie kills He Who Remains. That starts the multiverse. Like there is no longer a sacred timeline, there just is multiverse now. Doctor Strange then performs the spell with Spider-Man. Because there's a multiverse, his spell affects not just their timeline, but every timeline where there's a Spider-Man.
Oh, the Spider-Man.
And that brings in all the villains.
Every single time, though, all I hear is that Kimmy Schmidt song.
And I will crush that Spider-Man, and then another Spider-Man.
As soon as the multiverse explodes and is created, Wanda begins hearing voices of her other children in other multiverses, which drives her to the Darkhold and drives her to become a villain. It makes sense that way.
Well, why not just say that?
Why not explain it in the movie? Yeah.
Are we gonna get that in Loki? Are we gonna get that?
That might be a Loki season 2 thing.
And why was this not like mentioned in other Marvel shows?
Yeah.
Like what's going on with like my buddy Moon Knight over there?
It feels like this movie was never meant to be the culmination, but they had to market it as such.
Yeah, they marketed it as the culmination. And now I want that. I mean, is it going to be an Ant-Man now? Because of the quantum realm?
And Kang the Conqueror as well.
Kang the Conqueror.
Outside of all of that that we just complained about, for the movie itself that we got, I really enjoyed it.
If they marketed it more as what it was and not what we thought it was going to be, then I would have enjoyed it for a horror action adventure.
Yeah, like, it's a horror MCU movie. It's like
Zombie Doctor Strange.
It's like a roller coaster. You strap in, you go on the ride, you come back, and you're done. It's not like, oh, my life has changed and I understand everything about this theme park. Like, it's just a roller coaster, but a really fun roller coaster.
America Chavez?
Yeah.
I wanted a better introduction for her character, because right now she's just a random something.
Yeah, look, she's a fun kid, and
I enjoyed the flashbacks to her mom.
I don't know how much character she has even in the comics.
Yeah.
Like, right now she's no different than, like, Kate Bishop in terms of personality-wise. She's spunky, rambunctious, young, sure of herself.
We just got another random multiverse hopping thing where I feel like we could have just stuck to anything else in the multiverse. But why suddenly is she hopping multiverses? Like, why? Yeah,
it didn't make her power unique as a character. Like,
is it because they're colliding that somehow she just started, like, tearing through
Well,
them?
they're not colliding. Yeah, they only mentioned colliding in the Illuminati sequence, which I guess we should have mentioned a little bit of. Our theater had a really big reaction to John Krasinski.
Which is really funny, because if you don't keep up online, there were so many people in there that are probably like, what? No.
Is that Jim from The Office as Mr. Fantastic? What?
No, he was great.
Also, we got Black Bolt. Do you remember the Inhumans TV show?
I never saw it.
Okay, it was horrible. So the fact that we have a character from that show done right with the right costume is kind of miraculous.
I just feel like he was kind of thrown in there, whereas the other characters were a bit more interesting to me. Fair. I liked him. I thought his death was gnarly, dude.
I think they threw him in there for the death.
They just wanted to show, like, what she's capable of.
Correct.
Also, when, like, Mr. Fantastic's head just went...
That was really funny. I think they wanted to avoid another head popping with blood. They're like, alright, make it a party balloon. What did you think of Professor X getting Professor X/Professor Axe, as you called it?
Yeah, I said to him, is he going to be Professor X? And Ryan goes, not if he dies.
So,
and I said, oh, he got Professor X.
I should clarify. In preparation for the Multiverse of Madness, we watched all of the old X-Men movies because we thought, okay, maybe they'll bring in some other X-Men. Well, we had the Professor X.
I clearly didn't need to
watch it. In almost
it.
Every X-Men movie, Professor X is somehow incapacitated or brought off the battlefield because he's just so powerful of a mutant. So it's being referred to as being Professor X, where you're just kidnapped, knocked out, taken off the board, but not dead. He died, though. He's died 3 times. He's died in
death.
X3. He's died in Logan.
The only one that, to me, felt like a worth it death was in Logan.
Yeah, well, that was honestly his swan song, and they brought him back. I think he had an interview saying he might come back for more. I'm a Happy to Please fan, so if you give me the yellow chair and the X-Men theme and him doing, like, this and having the whoop whoop, like, the waves in his mind, it's right out of the comics, and right out of the cartoon, too, so I'm happy. But it feels like when you tease those characters in the trailer, you expect 2 things. 1, oh, I can't wait what they're gonna do. And 2, wow, if they revealed these people, I can't wait to see what they're hiding. And really what they were hiding was just Blackguard, Boltigar, and Mr. Fantastic, which are good reveals.
I mean, we got Captain Carter, which was interesting, I guess. I didn't mind her for what she was in it. I liked, it was interesting to have a different Captain Marvel, and have it be her friend.
I just didn't care.
No, and I agree. I'm just saying, like, it was good to show alternate realities of everyone.
It would have been more fun if that was an Iron Man variant that made the Ultron bots. Because Iron Man's part of the Illuminati usually in the comics. So if you had Captain Carter, Iron Man, Professor X, Black Bolt, and Mr. Fantastic.
We may get that at some point.
One thing I do want to mention in my spoiler review that I mentioned in my non-spoiler review, the magic. The music fight. I thoroughly enjoyed. That is the kind of magic I expected from Doctor Strange, where it's like 2 sorcerers just doing really unique, clever spells. Even something small like the blade that he creates to split the bus in half. It's not just, I'm using magic to punch you. It's, I'm going to create a spell that does something to alter the world around me. I love that kind of stuff.
But I wish they teased a dark Doctor Strange, and he wasn't the one that we were expecting. And then they made it seem like we were going to have a zombie Wanda. And instead it's just Wanda looking creepy as she's coming at them out of the thing.
I don't mind the Sinister Strange misdirect of, oh, he's not the villain. That's fine, because honestly, if it was Sinister Strange as the villain in the movie, Doctor Strange versus evil Doctor Strange, that's kind of the same as Ant-Man. That's the same as, like, Iron Man, where it's evil Iron Man. Like, I'm tired of characters fighting the evil version of themselves, so I'm kind of glad that that was a misdirect, and Wanda is a much better villain anyway.
I just wish we had, like, one more thing building up to her, which I guess maybe the show did build up to her pretty well. It's just, it's been so long since WandaVision, I wanted a little bit more in the beginning of
Well, Multiverse of Madness was supposed to come out after WandaVision in the original release dates.
Which, again,
So it would, if it was only like a two month difference, that would have been, okay, I see, they're doing a direct continuation to WandaVision. It's a sequel to WandaVision, basically. I think we've rambled enough about this movie. I gave it an 8 out of 10 because I think it's a fun ride if you know what you're getting into. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the director. I enjoyed the camera movement, the music. I enjoyed the style. I enjoyed the horror aspects of it. For reference, I gave the first Doctor Strange like a 7 out of 10 because it's fun, but it's mostly just firecracker, like, fist fighting.
I'd probably say 7 out of 10, but if we're looking from a horror aspect, I'm pretty impressed. It's a good movie, it just wasn't marketed to show what it was. If I was expecting this, then I probably would have rated it higher.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Kevin Feige actually has, like, gone on record saying he wasn't the biggest fan of how the movie was marketed. Because he doesn't control the marketing, Disney does. Okay, I hope you enjoyed our spoiler review of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, but what did you guys think? Leave your comments in the comment section down below, but please keep them spoiler-free as best as you can to those who,
Or just label spoiler ahead.
Yeah, just label spoiler, just be kind.
Be a good person.
Be a good person, although, again, everything's already on Twitter and YouTube. I've seen just on my YouTube homepage clips from the movie of people filming, so just be careful out there. Any last thoughts from you?
Can you, like, edit a star on my hand like America Chavez, like...
You want to punch to the end screen?
Yeah!
And as always, if you like this video, be sure to subscribe to the channel, and thanks for watching.
Bam!